It is 4:20 p.m. on March 16th, 2022. It's 4:20, bitches. Go get it. Go get it. um, this is a video where you are going to be required to think and to feel, not to look. So let's give you something really boring to look at, like a curtain with a cat behind it. Okay, so I was just having a conversation with God and an internal monologue, dialogue, whatever. And I'm gonna help you figure something out. So grab a piece of paper. For real though, grab a piece of paper and a pen. Did you grab it? I'm serious. Go grab a piece of paper and a pen. If you have it already, grab something to drink. Are we good? Okay. Now listen up, you little star babies. I was having a conversation with the shadow. That's all we're gonna call it. And a conversation with God. Like I was having a conference call basically. And I asked why there is negative dialogue in the mind. And I can take you through the answer. I can give you the answer. I can take you through the process of figuring it out. So we're just going to kind of go with it. And I'm going to wishy washy go back and forth between both so that it really kind of, you see the in between. Because I can't describe it to you and I can't name it. I can only kind of throw sand and hope you see the image in it, okay? Or, show you the image and hope you see it. There is there is a positive aspect in you, in everyone, that always speaks positively. The innocence, the light, the warm glow, that kind-hearted mother, the angelic essence, the one that's like, you're so beautiful, you're so loved, you're precious, you're beloved, you are a treasure of the world, and you are this and you are that, the light aspect. Then there is a side that says, you're fat, you're ugly, you're skinny, you're poor, your hair is too thick, your hair is too thin, your nose is too big, your nose is too small, your teeth are messed up, your teeth are too not clean enough, your skin is too pink, your skin is too dark, your eyes are too brown, your eyes are too blue, whatever. Well, why does that other part exist? What is it actually saying? Wait, there's no cat behind that curtain. Schrodinger's cat. Oh man, there isn't a cat behind that curtain. That's funny. Okay, the negative aspect talks that way because it's pointing at the positive aspects. It's pointing at the thing, the unnameable, the Tao, the God, the source, the originator, the you. It's pointing at the same thing the light is pointing at, except it can't tell you that you're beautiful and you're this and you're that. It tells you, you can do better. Why don't you? Why don't you do better than that? Just put this on or put that on. Oh no, that looks terrible. Don't wear that. You shouldn't eat that. You shouldn't do that. No, you'll never get that. You'll never get this. It's actually pointing towards the thing for you. The devil voice, the voice of Satan, the confusion voice, it's actually pointing at the same thing that the light is pointing at. It just doesn't have the vibration to bring you the message in the same frequency as the light does. The color purple is not going to be the color fucking red, no matter how much purple tries to be red, because purple is purple. So red, even if it's pointing at a color, and it is pure color itself, vibration, it's only able to show itself in red and all of the meanings of red. What you, what I, what us as living beings are required to do through discernment and knowing of thyself is to recognize that even the voice of God and the voice of the devil within you are the voice of the same consciousness, the same eternal everything. When you listen to that negative voice and you allow it to defeat you, you are hurting that negative energy just as much as you're hurting the positive aspect of you. When you give up on yourself, you are giving up on the light just as much as you are giving up on the dark. When you're doing anything of the negative act, that's more detrimental to the negative side than it is to the positive side. Remember, you exist in a world of duality and balance. It doesn't matter that it's evil or it's good in the grand scheme of things, right? People always make excuses for that and find reasons to argue. But look at it in a neutral point of view right now, as concepts of God. The negative and the positive both point at the sacredness of something, of life. It is the human who takes the action and says, I'm going to take that or I'm going to give that. But both actions point towards the thing that's already there, which is source, the originator, God, life, nature. So instead of giving into the negative side that says, oh, you look too fat or you look too skinny or whatever you're listening to in your mind that's negative, simply acknowledge what it's pointing at. Is it telling you that you should be working out more, or is it telling you should be changing your diet, or that you shouldn't be hurting somebody or stealing or, you know, being passive or complacent or whatever by trying to irritate you and move you forward through negative momentum? If you look at the light and the dark as the balance of the all, then you have to look at them both as tools and resources made to support you on your journey, which means that when you're being negative to yourself, there's a good fucking reason why. You just need to gain a little maturity, and instead of being victimized by that Queen of Swords within you or the devil energy within you, instead of being victimized by it, you instead become empowered by it and say thank you for pointing out what the light couldn't. Because the light was telling me I'm beloved, and no matter what I do, I'm going to be with Source in the kingdom of heaven. But the dark says, bitch, shouldn't you be working? Shouldn't you be exercising? Go for a walk. Make a friend. Like, go get laid. Eat something delicious. Treat yourself. Yes, go buy that thing. No, don't give that person any attention. No, don't give that person any energy. Like, there's a reason why these two aspects of the voice of existence flow through you. So instead of being victimized by them and then playing, on the other side with the righteous zealot kind of mentality of, oh, I'm all love and light. Like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're also a bitch. You're also a dick. You're also an asshole. You also take shits. You also pee. You also poo. You can vomit. You poison yourself with drugs and alcohol. You share your sexual energy for pleasure. You consume meat or you rip apart plants and you think that's any better. You don't meditate. You don't do spirituality stuff the way you should. You lie. You cheat. You steal. But at the same time, you tuck in your children at night, you cook dinner, you clean the house, you decorate, you admire the sunlight, the shadows and the light, you find beauty in things, you get dressed, you feel confident and sexy. It's a balance. So when you're having those negative self-talks, and I don't care if you're gay, lesbian, straight, a pastor in a church, a politician, a musician, I don't care what you are. I don't care if you're God itself. Of course you are. But I don't care right now because you do the same things I do. I do the same things you do. We are all the same consciousness separated into different aspects, existing in different formats and programs and stories. We are all unique, but we are all part of God. We share a tree of life. So when you're negative to yourself, don't be victimized by it. Look at it as a friend telling you something, and the only way it can tell you is through negative words. Similarly to, I don't know if you've ever seen Doctor Who, the Daleks. If you were friends with a Dalek and all it ever kept saying is exterminate, exterminate, running around with a little laser pointer, and you're like, hey, Dalek, do these pants make my butt look big? And the Dalek's like, exterminate. And you're like, oh my God, I'm so fat, I need to go on a diet. But all the Dalek meant is use the other pants, or your zipper is down. But all it can say is exterminate. And your shadow side, the dark aspect of you, the devil energy, all it can do is nudge you with negative intentions and words. It's your choice as a living being to choose to act on those things, or to use wisdom and discernment to see what the shadow and the dark energy is actually telling you to do. Because not even the rulers of hell or the abyss, no matter what people sacrifice to them, they do not want life snuffed out, because then that means they can't live or inhabit the body. So people committing violence and war has nothing to do with God or the devil. It's people that are mentally unable to interpret what they're hearing or seeing. Which is why I've told you violence is a mental illness. So be aware of that. The most horrible atrocities in the world, the most horrible, in one way or another, with higher wisdom, with higher intellect, and higher consciousness, can be viewed as a disease of the interpretation ability of the mind. And I don't want to give you negative examples because I don't want to trigger anything. I don't really, in that way, I don't want to make your mind imagine horrible situations more than it already has by default. So think about it wiser and wiser, okay? Remember, we're blurring the line and we're looking at God because God isn't in the duality matrix of good and evil. God is beyond that. So we have to start looking at things in a way where we're not looking at it as a victim, perpetrator, narcissist, or good versus evil, or God versus the devil, because they all come from the same source. So if you really want to ascend or evolve into 5D and higher, you have to stop looking for reasons to hate each other. Which means, first and foremost, stop hating the devil energy within you, and stop hating the devil energy in others, and stop glorifying one side over the next. Yes, all glory be to God, absolutely, but the source originator, not the God who picks a war between good and evil, because that is still in the duality matrix. The source of all things, the Most High, the Lord of all lords, the God, Goddess, the source of everything, the originator, has good and evil in it. It doesn't fight itself over it. It would be like having a fist fight with its own face. It would make no sense. Just like you, that good and evil exists in you, but you choose to behave good. You don't choose to go and strangle chickens, or to, put people on sticks and pikes on city borders. You're not running around blowing things up, or, doing horrible things to people who can't defend themselves. But people who get those nudges and those urges and those whispers in their ear, they think that they're being told to go do that stuff, when they're actually being told to go protect that stuff. But they can't hear the protection words. They're only shown the vulnerability and the weak points, and they misinterpret it and say into thinking that they should go attack those weak points. When instead they're so far from the light that only the dark can reach them to bring them back towards the light. And the light says, go protect those children. Those children are vulnerable, they can be hurt. That bank can be robbed. That elderly lady with the bag, you can pop her with a shopping cart. Sorry, that's so funny. 10 points. Just kidding. No, really though. Okay. You know what I mean, right? You have to be able to discern when it's like you have to know yourself to know that you wouldn't do those things. And if you hear those words, it's because you're being nudged to go protect those children, to go protect those elderly and those ducks crossing the street, instead of being said, hey, look at that ducky, drowning in the water, and some moron picks out a cell phone and records a video, and he's like, oh, will somebody save this duck? Like, bro, put the cell phone down and help that animal. Like, they misinterpret it. They It's a lack of intelligence and maturity of the mind and the soul. And then people are like, oh, there's so many people that can be programmed, and there's so many paranoid things that can happen with, like, radio towers and all this stuff. But at the same time, how many years have you already held a cell phone to your head? There were multiple other towers before the fifth one. You're still alive, aren't you? So what was that negative stuff for? Maybe it was just telling you, hey, it's time to train your light body to absorb a different kind of energy. And the message came through of, oh, be so afraid of this wavelength, oh, it's going to destroy you, which was actually your message to, hey, that's your Achilles heel, time to start practicing. you know if you're getting messages in your relationships where the voice inside you is telling you, oh, your partner's cheating, maybe what your inner voice is actually telling you is, hey, you're being lazy in your relationship, why don't you give your partner some more attention? But you can't hear that message in that way because your mindset has been in a negative energy state. So what you hear is, your guy's gonna cheat on you, he's probably fucking that bitch down the street. And then you get paranoid over it and you feed that energy, and the shadow side of you like gives itself a fucking face palm, because it's like, bitch, that's not what I meant. What I meant is, your partner's probably going to be cheating on you if you don't start giving him the attention that he deserves, while you're waiting for him to give you the attention you think you deserve. Like, but your shadow side isn't going to be able to tell you that, because your mindset is stuck in the Kardashians, or it's stuck in, The Bachelor, or some reality-esque Marvel Cinematic Universe mindset of your reality. When real reality is much simpler and family based and honest and loving and kind, where even the shadows and the light dance together like they do on your screen right now. They're not fighting. The light isn't going against war with the shadows. They're coexisting. Why would I think that it's evil in here? Because it's dark. It's 4:30 and it's beautiful. So honor that negative voice in you, because at some point in your life, in your ancestors' lives, that negative voice helped you survive, because it told you, oh, that bitch is coming for you. Oh, that person, that warlord, is coming into the village with his army of orcs. Y'all better run and start fighting. But instead of the light aspect of you saying, all is well, you'll survive this battle, it'll be fine. But the shadow side of you saying, pick up the sword and shield, let's go, put the armor on. What are you doing, weakling? You wanna get, turned into Vlad the Impaler's buffet. It's the same message from two different sides. So when you're hearing that you're ugly, you're actually being told that you are the beauty of God, but that message is coming at you like a sarcastic family member telling you, oh, you're still ugly, when you actually are wearing a ball gown with beautiful makeup and you're going to get married to the prince. And your sister's like, bitch, you're ugly, your hair is weird. And you're like, thank you. Because what they actually mean is, you're beautiful and your hair is perfect, but there's a strand out of place, you might want to check it. Do you get it? There is no real evil except the stupidity that human beings do based on the stupidity of what they think they interpret. It's a mental illness. It's energy. And that energy can be manipulated by other people who are really manipulative. There are false prophets who can sit on the fucking internet and flip cards for you and lie to you because they're listening to that negative voice and they're connecting with the negative voice in some of you. There are others who are just giving you fucking dangling invisible carrots every fucking day. And all they're doing is feeding off your energy. Then there's others who give you fucking therapy. They take care of you. They guide you through the emotional process. They give you riddles and oracle-like messages, and they actually support you. They don't scatter the information in a million different pieces and then just, leave you in a state of worry or fear. They show you the painting. They show you the picture. They give you the image. They show you the cards. They give you God's word. They don't sit there just praying on camera because, unless it's a prayer or blessing for you. But even then, Christ himself said, pray in private, not in public. It's in Isaiah, I think, or Matthew or something. He says, pray in private, not in public. So think about why all these people are doing all this prayer in public. You rarely ever see me say any kind of a prayer unless it's just to activate sacred space. I don't ever pray on like, not the way you think, whatever. You don't do it in public. It's just not what he said to do. And then some of you guys are like, oh, the disobedient are the ones doing the tarot cards. No, the disobedient ones are the ones that say that any aspect of God's creation is bad when they avoid the human behavior behind that action instead. It's like saying a hammer is bad because you can throw it to break a car windshield, but you can also use that hammer to put a picture of your grandmother up on the wall. It depends on the mindset of the person. And if the mindset is negative, then all they're going to hear is negativity. All they're going to see and do is negativity. And then the light's like, oh, they'll be fine. They'll get over it. They'll grow out of it. Oh, it's just a phase. And then we have the politicians we have now. Or we did, or whatever the situation is in your reality. We have to be honest with each other. We have to tell each other exactly how we feel. We have to tell each other without sugarcoating or beating around the bush or leaving things to paranoia. No, say how you feel. Do what you intend. Mind, body, and spirit in unison. You think it, you say it, you do it. You dream it, you visualize it, you think about it, you speak about it, you put action towards it. You hear something, you see something, you smell something, you taste something, you touch something. This isn't very difficult. And then when that negative voice pops up inside you and says, oh, you're this and oh, you're that, well, look at it from the other point of view. What is it actually telling you? Sit in the shadow's eyes and look at what it's looking at. Is it telling you that you're fat because you're actually not doing any exercising at all and it's telling you to exercise? And all you're hearing is you're fat. But the vibration that your inner being is sending you is it's the time to work out. Your body needs the hormones and the chemicals and all the things that release from exercise. Your muscles need the work. But all you hear is, go work out. You're so lazy. It's because of your mindset, your vibration. Remember, I told you years ago in a video, after I had been in an ayahuasca ceremony and a salvia divinorum experience, there's multiple salvia divinorum experiences actually. And in every single one, it always starts out with the voice inside your mind, that inner dialogue, being shown to you as a tiny little person in your head that's translating the vibrations coming to it from the universe. That little person in your head, that little voice in your head, is translating vibrational universal energies into language that you speak, into sensations and thoughts and sounds and things. The way you perceive them can be inaccurate due to your level of intelligence, your level of compassion, and your level of awareness of your own self. So some of you are doing readings on people, some of you are praying in public, some of you are gang stalking, some of you are doing horrible things, some of you are doing great things. And then you still have that negative voice, right? That urge, that fight, that inkling, that the negative itch that you can't scratch. It's because your inner being is guiding you towards what you're misinterpreting. That's why a lot of the videos on my channel, they go over the same point of information repeatedly. And it's God's way, the Spirit's way of bringing to you that information like a Fibonacci sequence. We go over the rotation over and over. You think it's over the same point, but it's not. It's like going up an elevator parking lot where it just spins and spins and spins, but it's actually going up. Like the card, the Wheel of Fortune. We see it two-dimensionally, but for all we know, there's like an infinite layer behind that first layer of wheels we see. But all we see is the first layer. So every time we're going over that information, we're actually elevating that level of information and giving it to you from a different perspective so that you can see what you're looking at instead of what I'm describing to you. Because I'm describing to you what you're already looking at. So it's not about what I'm saying. It's not about what I'm showing you. It's about the information flowing through you while I'm speaking to you and how you're interpreting it. So that you can become aware of the part of your inner dialogue, in your mind and inner being that is misinterpreting the information being brought to it. It's a training of discernment, detachment, and embodying yourself as well as grounding yourself within your body. It's knowing the subtle differences. It's recognizing your own bad behavior and recognizing your actual positive behavior, your potential, and how much you don't reach your potential. I don't care if you are part of Team Elohim or if you're part of, the vultures and thieves group. You can be better. You can be better. And some of you might think I'm saying that as a perfectionist. Incorrect. That is the misinterpretation of your inner dialogue. What I'm actually saying is unable to be said, but it is pretty much the concept of you are already God. So what you think you are is a fucking failure compared to who you really are. And I'm here to tell you, you are God. So what you are right now is kind of disgraceful to that God. But what you're hearing is probably an insult. What I'm actually saying is you are the glory of God. Respect yourself, love yourself, cherish yourself, honor yourself. You are beloved, you are Christ consciousness and all of that stuff. But what you're, still trying to mull over is, did that bitch insult me? Well, yes. How does that make you feel? Makes you feel insulted and angry and blah, 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 right? Well, why? Because you know you deserve better? Because you know you are better? Because you know that's not you? So that negative emotion is actually showing you your value and your worth, right? It's not telling you to lash out and attack. Check yourselves, my loves. You are gods. You can act human all you want. You can act like a reptilian all you want. You can act like a gray. You can act like a whatever the fuck you want. You can act like a ghost or a voodoo priestess or whatever. I don't care. You're still God. I still love you. And after this entire absurdity is over, we're probably going to still be best friends, every single one of us. So I don't care if you have a tail or horns or scales or whatever. Could you be a little better for yourself and those around you? Because I'm doing it. And if I keep having to do it and drag the rest of all of us with me, or be dragged by the rest of you because I'm not carrying my own weight, ugh, exhausting. Can we all just, get to the dining table in the kingdom within us and bring it out here instead of playing ego battles with the voices in our heads that tell us negative things about people when they're actually probably pointing at best friends that we could have with each other and yourselves. You could be spending that time by yourself, enjoying every fucking moment instead of wondering when he or she is going to return or when they're going to call or if they're cheating or not. You could be spending that time in peace, smoking a joint with your shadow self, laughing at your own bad behavior, making best friends with yourself, and then making best friends with other people, like me. Or you can sit there and argue with yourself and complain and hate your life. It's up to you. The light will always tell you God loves you no matter what you do. And the dark will tell you, bitch, get off your ass and do something productive. What are they both saying? Just enjoy your life and be a good person.